we are looking at the latest big box office hit to come to theaters, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, the 7th installment
Yep.
in the Mission Impossible series. We're going to start with Todd. Todd, tell us all about Dead Reckoning Part 1 and what you thought.
Okay, like the last one, this is directed by Christopher McQuarrie, the guy who definitely changed this franchise after the third one. This movie starts out with like a really cool scene in a submarine where like this dangerous self-actualized machine forces its creators to actually torpedo themselves. And this thing, they call it the Entity, which is basically a computer that can hack anything that is connected to any network and in real time and play around and really kind of control basically everything. And so you can tell why this is like this big 6-hour epic story along with part 2. I'm sure it'll be just as long. Because the bad guy is much more scary because he's not human, and it seems like something that is actually kind of plausible, even though it's basically unknowable at the same time. It felt to me like basically the electronic version of Ice 9, and no one can handle it, no firewalls, no protection, and everyone's just kind of like freaked out. Ethan Hunt is notified of this sort of indirectly, and even though his mission is to gather these two parts of a key to the thing, because they want to control this like world-changing property, he wants to destroy it. So he basically goes rogue on his own in this crazy world-spanning mission with Benji and
As
Luther.
only Ethan Hunt can.
Yes, of course. Along with some old friends you might remember from previous films. It would have probably helped to watch the last 3 movies before this, but the action and everything makes it creative enough to work without really understanding who all these people are. But some of those people are Vanessa Kirby. She returns as the White Widow. She's the daughter of Max from the original films. Rebecca Ferguson is back as Ilsa, who is an agent that was disavowed, but an ally to Ethan. And then you have new characters, including a pickpocket named Grace, played by Haley Atwell, who unwittingly gets wrapped up in the whole plot. Esai Morales is Gabriel, who is working for the Entity and evidently has a history with Ethan. And Palm Clementieff plays Paris, who's an assassin working with Gabriel. Shea Whigham's in this. Carrie Ellis is in this. Charles Parnell, among others. Yeah, this movie.
Don't forget Kittredge.
Oh, and Kittredge, of course, because he has to be in these movies.
Kittredge, we've got Kittredge over here.
Him and his amazing underplayed line delivery, where he just goes soft to make himself sound dramatic. I just love that actor. I want him in more movies. Yeah, I like this movie a lot. This movie rocks. Like the previous few films, this is a movie of set pieces. Like there's this straight out of Bourne Ultimatum sequence at the airport that is absolutely intense. There's this like really cool video game looking shootout scene in the desert in Yemen or something. There's this amazing sequence on a hanging train. And there's a scene identical to the climactic scene in Fast X in Rome. There's a lot of Fast X in this movie, actually. And of course, that is a good thing. The plot's really similar in that the leads cannot get ahead of this seemingly omniscient monster bad guy. And there's also like a similar endgame explosion setup. It's just funny it came out in the same summer. This and Fast X, this is basically Fast X with a better filmmaker and more practical effects.
And Tom Cruise.
And Tom Cruise. There is there's a lot of Top Gun Maverick in this as well, because unlike the previous ones, like Ethan essentially has a protege and he's explaining and recruiting and getting emotional about things, which imply that he really kind of is on his way out. He's like that late era Daniel Craig Bond, where he actually cannot separate his job from his emotions, and it's causing his judgment to be compromised. And in a lot of ways, it's more of an Ethan Hunt character study than it is like a typical Mission Impossible movie. There was less running than there was in Fallout, which makes it less dumb. I was not a fan of Fallout. I can give that 2 stars, and I was criticized for it. There's a lot of situational comedy. Like there's like a really kind of slapsticky kind of action scenes, including one where Ethan and Grace are trying to escape in a tiny car and they're handcuffed to each other.
Yes.
And there's a lot of things like happening in the background that are really funny. Like, oh, he's got to be around here somewhere, and you just see him like hauling ass on the roof, like in the background. And there's a lot of those scenes where just like the audience just like laughed and clapped. I mean, this is a blast to watch with a huge crowd. It was absolutely packed when I saw it. And there's also a weird amount of like magic tricks in this movie. That was not what I was expecting. Seeing Tom Cruise do magic evidently is entertaining. Yeah, Tom Cruise is a madman though. Like the stunts are nuts, and there's only a few shots that look like they're in front of a green screen. Like Christopher McQuarrie is a better director than we give him credit for. Like he's kind of a genius. He can get anything made, and he does it the way he wants to do it. He's essentially like the blockbuster version of Taylor Sheridan, somewhere between that and like James Cameron. The movie's cool. Like the plot devices are intriguing and probably timely, but it honestly kind of makes everyone's like concerns about AI kind of seem absurd because it takes it so far in this. And this might actually be contributing to the problem. People who think that's a problem or whatever, they're dumb. It's their own fault. It's a really good movie, and it's just so much fun. And yes, it's half of a story, but it's not dumb like Spider-Verse. It's not poorly acted like Spider-Verse. And there is an actual end point to the movie and a part that makes sense to stop there. But it's an absolute banger and probably as good as these movies can get. Like they're constantly taking themselves further than you thought that they could put on screen. And they keep topping themselves in like how crazy it gets. But this one actually really clicks on almost every cylinder. And again, similar to Fast X, the clear spiritual companion to this movie. Watch it. You can watch that before for all I care. This is a 3.5-star movie. This is a lot of fun. Probably the best Mission Impossible movie.
Wow.
Whoa. Okay. I don't know if I'd go there, but I really love like all of the Mission Impossible movies. They have an extremely high floor for me. Like at its worst, it is still damn entertaining. But and yeah, I'm saying this is a 3.5-star movie also. One thing you said, you mentioned Tom Cruise doing magic. I didn't know he could. Yeah, that's a callback to the first movie, Todd. Because the two
here,
floppy
the disc.
discs. It's like I know what you were thinking. There were 2 discs down there. Is that one or
Yeah.
is it this? Yeah, so it's a callback to that. And you had the pickpocket that was good with stuff like that. So you had to bring it out. Yeah, I kept thinking about Fast X 2, and one of the things I thought of was as it started, and you see Kittredge pop back up, you see the magic tricks, and you've got Vanessa Kirby back as Max's daughter. It's like, oh, I wonder what other callbacks we're gonna have to past movies. And like, oh crap, this is a Fast and the Furious movie, isn't it? Because it's just pulling from all the old material that they had. But it works
and
here.
they're bringing things from before the movies even started, like
I know,
like the Gabriel character. Like that seems like a
Ethan
really
Hunt
pivotal
origin
thing that we
story?
don't know about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
John Cena is in this. What?
Yeah. It's
yeah.
another brother.
I wanted to see some other like let's bring back Jonathan Rhys Meyers and Paula Patton and Jeremy Renner, and let's get them all in here. Let's see what happens.
Thaddeus Newton, is she still around? She didn't die.
Oh
right?
yeah, Tandy Newton
Tandy, yeah.
her
I
name's
see
slipping
away.
right now. I don't remember what. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, this movie's a blast. It's 2 hours and 43 minutes, and somehow too short. Like there were plot points in this that I was like, wait, what's going on? Like they spend so much time having so much fun with the action that the intricate storyline, there are moments where you're like, wait, huh? And so that's one thing that it could have done a little better. But yeah, then you're making it really, really long. One action sequence you didn't mention is in the locked alleyway. That one is just cool, and the way it's shot is awesome.
Claustrophobic feeling.
Yeah, that one was really cool too. And I mean, Tom Cruise, what can't he do? The question is, if part 1 and part 2 is really the end of Ethan Hunt, he's wrapped up Maverick, he'll be wrapping up Ethan Hunt. What's he gonna do next? I mean, all his franchises are gonna be done. So
Riskier business.
Oh, that's right. He's bringing back Days of Thunder. I forgot. I heard about that.
No, Tropic Thunder. I said
Tropic Thunder. Oh yeah, but no,
Nice.
I heard that they're gonna bring back Days of Thunder too. I thought I heard that.
Okay,
somewhere.
well, I mean, it's possible.
Yeah.
More cocktails.
Anyways, as I will agree with Adam though. Why is Carrie Elwes a thing? I mean, he
Punchable
showed up
Face,
like
2023.
He's in this movie? Why? Why is he in this movie?
I know, why wasn't it Jonathan Groff?
That's a valid point. But I mean, and you throw Charles Parnell a bone and give him a thankless 5-minute part, and he's awesome and should be getting more stuff. I don't know. Carrie Elwes, really? Anyways, 3.5 stars. Adam, what'd you think?
I got out of this about at 2:00, so about 2 hours before this conversation. So we did not have a packed crowd. It was like 25 people in there. RPX, big screen, really excited.
RPX, nice.
Yeah. So with Regal, if you have unlimited, it's only $2 to watch RPX. So there you go, more than you know. So it was worth it. So I really enjoyed this one a lot. But being the 2 parts, I was like, I kind of want to see where do they go from here. There's going to be some insane underwater stuff, obviously. I think that's about the submarine without getting too much into it. But I kind of really dug it. I think there's a lot of Uncharted video game franchise in this because there is extensive scenes with a motorcycle going through the jungle. There's a big old video game shootout, like Todd mentioned, in the desert, which that happens in Uncharted 3. Uncharted 2 has a scene on a train as it's breaking apart. It's fantastic. And I think out of all the stunts, they really hyped up that motorcycle stunt, which it was cool. But that train sequence and how they shot that was probably my favorite part of the entire movie. My mouth was like, oh my, this piano and this grease, fryer is going off. Like, how the heck are they going to get up top and not fall to their death? I was on the edge of my seat during that sequence. It was a lot of fun. Vanessa Kirby back here, she's fantastic. I really like Rebecca Ferguson in here. I thought I wanted more of her, of course. But Tom Cruise, again, it's his franchise, but he let his side characters once again kind of steal the show. Where I thought Palm Nemiroff was my favorite part of the movie, which reminded me of John Wick with all his the John Wick villains having like really cool sidekicks, and that's exactly what she was in this one. Really cool henchman character.
It was good. It was cool to see her not be Mantis for once too.
Yeah, she was a complete badass in this movie.
Yeah,
which is awesome. So Paris, one of my favorite characters, probably of this year for minor stuff. But also really cool to see Shea Wingham in here as Briggs. Except the last thing I saw of him was HBO show Vice Principals. I watched that for the first time. We binged that series, and seeing him completely be a different character, and he had some really good moments in here. That Fiat little yellow car sequence was hilarious, and I had no right to be as funny as it was, but the whole theater was laughing pretty loud at that moment there. They really raised their game up here, and I'm really kind of looking forward to seeing what is going to happen next. And the main villain, played by Eze Morales, they first showed his backstory, I thought, is that Emilio Estevez? That's what it looked like, right? From Mission Impossible 1. It looked like Emilio Estevez. From the first one, he had the goatee, didn't have his glasses or the backward or chewing bubble gum, red light, green light. But really excited to that got me really hyped because it looked just like that. It looked like it was filmed just like when he comes up in they're on their mission when that person gets stabbed or whatever at the beginning of the movie. It's kind of filmed in the same way as in Mission Impossible 1. But really awesome movie. I was at 3 stars. However, you guys got me hyped for it. 3.5 stars. We'll go 3.5. Which action movie is better, this one or John Wick Chapter 4? That was where I was kind of. I
have this one slightly higher, but they are kind of the pinnacle of action movies this year for sure.
And I gave John Wick Chapter 4 3.5 too, so it's only fitting I tied these up because it's really hard to 2 different types of action movies, but they are some of the best we'll probably ever see this year.
Yeah, this movie's awesome. It's one thing I thought was interesting. You get these big, huge stunts, and Mission Impossible is always great at hyping up the big stunt, right? But it's interesting where they put it. Like I remember Rogue Nation, the big stunt was him hanging off the airplane, right? It was the opening sequence of the movie. And this one, the big stunt is the jumping off the mountain on the motorcycle, and they save it for almost the end. And as that sequence is progressing, I don't know if everyone else in the theater was doing it, but I'm like, oh, this is how they're going to use that. This is where they're putting it. And it kind of gave away what was about to happen.
McQuarrie's like one of the best director. Like he is directing the shit out of this. Like put all these set pieces. Like that's a lot of stuff to keep. There is three different chases happening in that one sequence alone, and he has to coordinate like running away from the police, running away from Palm, and Paris. Sorry, her name's Paris, and then running away from the two IMF guys. You know the police. What's his name? Shea Wingham and his partner's characters. So there's a lot of chase stuff going on. I like it.
If you haven't seen it yet, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1 is in theaters. Go check it out. We have a big announcement, and I forgot to announce this before we got to everything. So we're going to announce it now, and that is in 2 weeks we're going to have a live show where we are going to do a retrospective movie awards for the year 2008. The 2008 Almost Sideways Movie Awards.